All right, now we turn, sorry, don't blame the messenger, to the not-so-good news. All right, earlier today, the massive 0.75-point rate hike from the Fed. Now, this is the third increase from the Fed since Joe Biden took office. Goldman Sachs, for example, predicts in the next 2 years as many as 11, maybe more. Anyway, 3 so far, many more expected. And as inflation is draining the savings and retirement funds, you're all watching it. You're all seeing it. Donald Trump predicted it. It's hurting Americans all across the country, especially the poor, the middle class, people on fixed incomes. 2/3 of Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck. Sadly, rate hikes are not good for example, property values, to put it mildly. Let's break down what this rate hike means, for example. Now, under Donald Trump, in 2020, many Americans, they were getting mortgages with interest rates around 3%, some even lower in the 2s. I'm talking about a 30-year fixed rate. Now, if you bought a $400,000 home, let's say you put 20% down, your monthly payment on a 30-year loan would be $1,993 a month. At the end of 30 years, the total mortgage paid with interest, you bought a $400,000 house, it would be $485,600. Now, you go a half a point or 0.5% increase in interest rates, your payment goes up by $100. And the total payment paid over 30 years goes up by $32,000. Another half a point, you're looking at a $200 increase every month and a $64,000 hike altogether. That's at 4% interest. Now, prior to today, a 30-year fixed mortgage was averaging, 6.3 some odd percent. At that rate, your monthly payment is $500 more than it would have been in 2020, and the total amount that you would pay over the course of your loan would be $203,000. Wow. Now, today, it gets a lot worse. Rates now expected to go as high as 7.5%. Let's take a look at buying that same home. That means if you compare the rates in 2020 under Donald Trump, well, you'll pay $1,000 more per month, and after today's hike and interest rates going up, you'll spend a whopping $320,000 more dollars over the 30-year course of your loan. After today, the same price you would have only paid for, what, a year and a half ago? I mean, it's unbelievable. It's staggering. Now, at these rates, that means purchasing a home now is going to become unaffordable for many Americans, if not most Americans. That means sales of existing homes, that's going to plummet. You know, the day and age, you put a house on the market, 15 people come in, people are bidding above asking price. Those days are now going to end, except for maybe states where people are moving to, like Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and the Carolinas. But for most states, your home values will plummet. New home construction will come to a screeching halt. That's going to kill contractors. Fewer and fewer Americans will refinance their homes. And guess what? Your property values that you've been looking, it's been rising the last number of years. That, like your stock market and your 401k, that will plummet. In fact, they are already going down as we speak. This will not only impact the housing market, but also America's financial institutions. We're headed straight for a recession, even as inflation continues to climb. Now, this week, we also learned that the Producer Price Index, this measures wholesale prices that businesses pay, and then you pay more on top of it. It's up a whopping 10.8%. If you watch this program, you know the driver of these costs is record high gas prices and diesel prices. Joe Biden could work to bring those prices down right now. And don't take my word for it. Let's listen to Kevin O'Leary, CNBC. Take a look.
The economy, the market, it's not going to be able to recover unless we see some relief, and relief that we can believe is a long-term solution for oil.
Here's how you fix that problem. It was a policy mistake by Biden when he came in. You reverse the mistake. All you have to do is jawbone. The oil market's a futures market. Just announced you're going to license 3 new refineries on the East Coast. Also announced we're going to re-examine the XL pipeline. We're going to give back the leases in Anwar. We're going to give more carbon direction to understand what the costs are. All of those policy mistakes could be reversed by just getting up and jawboning it. You could take oil down below $100 if you got more accommodative towards the future production.
Yeah.
Now, Biden may not do that. That's on him.
Bingo. But Biden's not going to do any of that because the radical climate religious cult that runs the administration won't let him. Democrats, New Green Deal Party Democrats, socialists, they won't let him. Instead, Biden sent a very mean, threatening letter to oil companies demanding they stop taking a profit because it's a patriotic thing to do. Joe, they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, Joe, but keep this in mind anyway. Despite the administration and they're demonizing and blaming anybody and everybody but themselves, well, and they're going after the oil giants. Let's look at companies like ExxonMobil. Their profits are flat over the last quarter. And in 2020, guess what, Joe? Many of these companies lost money. They made no profit at all. But you're not going to hear that from the administration because they're just looking to scapegoat. They'll blame Putin. They'll blame Trump. They'll blame oil companies. They'll blame meat companies. They'll blame poultry companies. So let's be very clear. Joe Biden caused this problem. He caused it because of his election promises. He told you and promised every American this is what he was going to do. I will remind you again so you never forget it. And you can tell all your friends. Take a look.
If we don't stop using fossil fuels,
we're all dead. Doing away with any subsidies for fossil fuels, number one. Number two, holding them liable for what they have done, particularly in those cases where you're underserved neighborhoods and you know the deal, okay? And by the way, when they don't or when they're deliberate, we'll put them in jail.
Kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with it, okay?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
Of course, his promises didn't stop there. Biden also vowed to treat Saudi Arabia like a pariah country, directly accusing the Crown Prince of being responsible for the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And now, lo and behold, Joe Biden's headed over to Saudi Arabia to meet with the Crown Prince, where our president, I bet pretty much every penny I had, he's going to grovel on his hands and knees and beg the Crown Prince to pump more oil, all because the religious climate alarmist cult in the Democratic Party won't let him produce oil, gas domestically. It's that simple. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.